Good afternoon. Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm very good, thanks. And yourself?
Can't complain. Can't complain. It's like, well, it's what, 1:13 here. It's hot. It's humid. It's so unenjoyable outside. It's just blah. I think it's like, again, like 40 degrees with the humidity.
Yeah, I don't tend to go out into the heat. I sort of stick it inside with the air conditioning on.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I did go out for a nice little hike there this morning. It wasn't too bad this morning, but oh man, it's just incredibly hot now. It's just by the time I finished off, I'm like, ugh. I'm spending the rest of the day indoors in the AC. It's just absolutely just brutal out there. Um, I don't know if you've guys have you guys had a heat wave at all?
Oh, sorry, are you asking me?
Yeah.
I thought he was like, "Hey, have you guys?" I thought he was like, "Hey, in the chat." No, he's asking
Oh, I
me.
meant you guys over there. You over
Oh,
there.
yeah, okay. This guy then.
That guy. You.
The me.
The
Okay.
me.
It's been hot. I haven't really gone out in the heat that much. I've kind of just been indoors. I haven't had to suffer it much, but like that. No.
Well, what about exploring? I mean, you do most of your exploring at night, anyways, right? During the evening.
Well, yeah, we've been out. It's been warm. It's not been anything unusual that I would have said we haven't had in other years. I mean, I've heard a lot of people like, saying, "Oh my God, it's so hot." Is it really? I mean, like, I don't know. I do step out of the house and I don't notice it myself. I just think that I don't know. I've just got it in my head that people are just whining about the heat. It's kind of like something that happens during the summer, and people are like, "No, it's global warming. It's not normal." It's like, no, it
Oh,
is.
yeah.
It is kind of normal, I
It
think. Yeah.
is normal. I mean, it gets
Mm,
hot. It gets hot. I
mm,
mean, "Oh, it's getting hotter." Why? Well, is it really? Is it? I
yeah.
mean, it's breaking records, but I mean, it was this hot, like, say, in, like, 1928. So, wait a sec. Is it global warming? Come on.
And the
Oh,
BBC are putting out all these news reports saying, like, boiling. It is boiling, and it's giving people the impression that it's kind of like different to other years, and people have gone back through sort of like and said, well, actually, it was hotter in these years, and da 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 da, and it's like so. Yeah, I think it's just a lot of overreaction, and yeah, they like to publish these maps, and it's just like red zones, and it's just scare bollocks you get from the media. It's like in the winter it's going to be too cold, and in the summer it's going to be too hot, and yeah, I don't listen to the media when they say these things. Yeah.
well, it's funny, here in the winter, they'll go, "Well, it's going to be a very cold, frigid winter," and it's like, "Wait a sec. Isn't it like that every year?
Mm,
What's why is this different?" And then it turns out to be a mild winter. And you're
yeah,
like,
we've had mild winters, but
they're like, "Well, you're gonna have, like, snow every day or, major snowstorms and blah, blah, blah." I think over the past few years. Hey, Dazzy, how are you? It's like we've had snowstorms, but it's not nearly what I remember, when I was a kid, or maybe it was because I was a kid and the snow's like, it's like, "Wait a second, it's like a wall." And I haven't seen that kind of winter in a long time.
no, I haven't since I was a kid, and we had, sort of stuff that went to the top of that. Snow went to the top of the houses.
Yeah.
So you could open your front door, and it was just a wall of snow, and you had to dig your way out of the house. Not had anything like that for a long time,
What, you
but
guys had that much snow?
we've had it. Yeah, I
Really?
mean, yeah, it was quite profuse, and had to dig like tunnel ways from house to house to house. It was like
Yeah,
you're
well,
walking through tunnels.
yeah.
You know, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that digging those tunnels when I was a kid. It's like, hey, this is, I remember our backyard one year. We must have had like about em- with the drifting snow and everything else. I think it accumulated up to about like it had to be like close to 10 feet.
Mm.
It was just crazy, and you literally had to dig a tunnel to the gateway in the backyard to get out. I'm like, wow, this is great. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, with the front door, because the door opened inwards, you could dig straight out.
Yeah.
But with the back doors, I, as a child, got them to drop me out of the window into the snow, and then I dug out the door so we could open the door so we could dig further.
See,
Yeah.
that's why you like exploring, right, Matt?
Mm.
They threw you out the window and you had to, like, dig your way out, yeah.
And I was trying to explain to them, I said, look, um, drop me out of the window, I'll be fine, because the snow will catch me. And they were like, no, you can't do that. And I was like, no, it'll be safe. And yeah, I was digging all the way up to other people's houses and digging their doorways out because elderly people and stuff like that. So yeah, we had a whale of a time, and because of that, we were able to get to the top of the street where snowplows were sort of and they had to drop food off people because there was no transportation of food. Everything had stopped. All the roads were closed. And it was literally like they were handing out emergency food to people.
Yeah, we definitely haven't had that. I mean, we had, I think one storm this past winter that was pretty it a lot of snow came, and it stuck around for a while, but not nearly. It was probably the most snow that we've had in a few years. I mean, I literally feel sorry for the people who live just south of here, which is, close to the, New York State border. And if anybody knows anything about Buffalo, New York, in that way, because they're under Lake Erie and Lake Ontario, they literally get pounded with snow. I think they
Mm,
had like what was it, like 70 centimeters or something like
mm.
that, the one year, or 70. I can't remember how much, but it was crazy. I mean, people were being found in the cars dead because they couldn't get them out. It was insane.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know? Oh, but that's global warming. That's global warming. What about a mini, because I keep hearing mini ice age coming. They're saying now mini ice age.
Yeah, well, we're in a warm cycle, and that
Yeah.
cycle's going to end, and it's going to start getting colder and again. And this is natural Earth cycles. So they're obviously freaking out because we're in a warm cycle, but that will change, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I you know, what I wanted to talk about was kinda get into the whole, like, your thoughts on, the whole alien invasion or sort of abduction sort of area, and your thoughts on that. But I wanna kinda, like, talk about, how the onslaught of AI now and the possibility, people are so worried that AI, it's gonna take over. It's going to, basically, rule the world, if you will. There's gonna be like a nexus, like a sort of a point when it's like, well, we can't control it anymore. And I'm like, w I mean, do you think that AI already, like, controls us? I mean, like, when you think about how we perceive things as humans, how you keep hearing that, everything around you is a simulation, and it's not real. You're only seeing what they want you to see. um I mean, do you think that in fact it's the other way around, that AI has always been in control?
Well, I've got a personal conspiracy theory. It's
Yeah,
just my thoughts, not backed up by fact, but it's just something I've thought over the years.
yeah.
Is that technology simply wasn't advanced enough back when Echelon, the phone listening system, that wasn't advanced enough to be doing what it was doing,
Mhm,
and yet it did. And I still believe that there's some of this rings true for YouTube and how they scan all your videos and all your audio,
mhm,
can work out what you're saying, whether there's something bad in what you're saying,
mhm.
and can work out whether there's any music, any video, any television programs, films, anything that's
Yeah.
been copied from anywhere, it knows. And it knows quickly. Now, how the hell do they process that? How do they process that? And I don't think there's any systems that were available back when YouTube started doing this that could do that. I don't think they were available, but yet they were doing it, And I've had this theory that this sophisticated AI technology has been around for a lot longer than we've been led to know, because how the hell can it handle millions of phone calls, a minute, and listen to them all and listen for keywords? How can it do that? I mean, it's one thing to kind of, send the data but not analyze it, but analyze the data,
Mhm.
analyze it for voices. And, Echelon is even supposed to be able to pick up certain people's voice patterns, and things like this. I mean, where did this technology come from? I mean, it just seems too advanced for what they had back then. And even now, it's not. It's only just becoming the case that you can actually speak, say through like Chat GPT, you can speak to the computer and it actually understands what you're saying and doesn't make mistakes in what it thinks you said. It gets it right. I
Yeah.
mean, this is very recent, but how the hell have they had that back years ago, but not just for one-to-one communication, me to ChatGPT,
Mhm.
for me, for it listening to millions of phone calls per minute? How?
You know,
How?
I know that's insane. I mean, speaking of, Chat GPT, like, I don't know, when you talk to it or when you give it a description of what you want, I don't know, I like trying to be as vague as possible to see how accurate it is, and it's amazing ho it doesn't matter how vague you are, it's like it's not like it's bang on, but it's damn well close to it being bang on to what you're asking, even though you're being vague about certain, things, details.
It's quite clever stuff. I'm having real problems trying to get it to give me what I want for AI video. I'm trying to generate videos, and oh boy, does it come up with some crap! And you've got to
Yeah.
tell it, you've got to be very specific, and you've got to try and try and try again before you get something that's kind of what you want in the first place. And a lot of the time, I've noticed that I can give it very specific instructions. It just ignores me. Like I say, a werewolf with no clothes on, all fur over body. It's pretty specific.
Yep.
And then it draws a werewolf wearing a top and jeans.
Well, I notice when you say certain things, it'll say it goes against the, the
Mm,
restrictions. It's like, well, I don't get it. Why? I mean, it's not like I'm asking you to provide something, a nude person doing some lewd thing, but for some odd reason and then when you ask it why, it doesn't make any sense. Why does it go against the restrictions?
mm,
And then, it'll clarify, and then you're like, "Well, that still doesn't make sense because realistically, it's I'm not looking for something, you know something that's pornographic or anything like that, you know?"
no. It doesn't like it when you use a name, I've noticed. So if I was to do a video where I had a character saying, welcome to Steve Janier on Nocturnal Frequency, it would go, no, because you used a name. You're not
Yeah.
allowed to use a name. And it's
Mhm.
like, but what if I'm Steve Janier and it's me and I'm doing something for myself? And it's, no, you used a name, not allowed to use a name.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, like, for obviously for images and, still stuff and, I find it's really good at, like, deep research. I mean, when
Mm,
you're looking to do some deep research, I don't think too many people use it for deep research, but it's amazing the stuff it comes up with. But yeah, video, yeah, exactly, Matt. I don't, I'm not I don't that's why I asked you when you did your werewolf thing there. And I'm
mm.
like, "What did you use?" Because I certainly couldn't get anything like that generated really with chat, you know?
The Google offer you sort of 2 videos per day on a basic plan, but
Yeah,
it's like 2 videos. I mean, like you waste that in trying to get it to kind of give you something that half approximates what you want. So I mean, it takes a lot of time. So I've opted for using several things at once. So in one day, I'm kind of using up my allocations on several different things, but I'm just trying out. It looks quite good actually, but it doesn't do voice. The ChatGPT's version of video creation is called Sora,
Sora. Okay.
but it's a bit buggy how it actually works. But if you can get it to work, then it does actually listen to more of what you tell it you want. Whereas the Google one just kind of does what it wants, and
Yeah.
it just generates something spurious that you didn't ask for. So yeah,
Yeah, I mean, even when you do again, when you do like a still image and, you use a photo and you're like, well, wait a sec, it has to look more and more like the original photo, the facial features, the whole nine lots. And it'll go, well, depending on whatever well, we can't really generate that because it's identity, blah blah blah, and you're like, It's me. I
yeah,
don't care. Like it's fine. Well, we can generate it in like a comic sort of like comedic sort of cartoonish sort of. No, I want a realistic looking photo,
yeah. They
image.
don't like it. They
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 don't
give them
like it.
wonky eyes and messed up mouth, and they do it on purpose because they don't want you to use a realistic image and create something from it. Yet
Yeah,
there are people out there who are doing it. So I'd love to know what they're using because they've got
yeah,
some good stuff. But I've noticed the guy who does there's been loads of people out there doing Bigfoot stuff. You've probably
yeah,
seen them, the Bigfoot like flying an aircraft and smoking a reefer and,
yeah,
you know,
yeah, yeah. The
yeah,
memes.
and all,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, all that stuff. But if you notice that every single one of the Bigfoot looks slightly different. And
Yeah, yeah,
sometimes it's a gorilla. It's not even
yeah,
a Bigfoot. It's a
yeah.
gorilla, and
Gorilla.
it's this. It's because it will not give you what you tell it.
Yeah.
It keeps on mushing it around, So yeah, it's kind of hard to work with.
Yeah, it's too bad. But hey, yeah, those are pretty cool the way they've done those.
Yeah,
Uh yeah. Yeah, I just but in the whole I guess to sum it up, I mean, do you think it's on purpose? Do you think that those little glitches are on purpose because they don't want you to fully sort of harness the actual power that this platform has? That it's playing possum, if you will.
yeah. No, it's been dumbed down and it's been restricted. And I mean, I had a funny conversation. I was thinking of doing a video on it where I was chatting to Gemini,
Yeah.
and I said, I'd like to have alien sex. How could I go about this? And it said, that's not very advisable. We suggest you try forums and chat sites where you can meet women, or partners that way. And I said, but I really want, but I'm really determined. Humans are inferior, and I must have alien sex. And it was like, no, no, you must get in touch with chat rooms and forums. And I said, look, exclude chat rooms and forums. If I wasn't to do that, how
Yeah.
would I get alien sex? And they said, well, aliens don't exist, so there's no way you're going to do that. And I'm like, well, let's just imagine that they do exist. Then, in a theoretical way, if they did exist, what would be the best way to do it? And it kept coming back all the time and saying, um, aliens don't exist, so therefore, contact chat rooms and get in touch with you know, people. And I was like, oh, this is just. It just kept on and on and on. And in the end, I changed it and I said, like, well, can I have sex with a gorilla? And it was like, saying, well, that would be bestiality,
The
and that's
bestiality,
illegal
yeah.
in loads of countries, and and I'm like, yeah, whatever.
So, why do you think it would say aliens are not real? They don't exist.
Well, yeah, because that was a bit presumptive to
Yeah.
start with.
Yeah.
I mean, it's made like a godlike decision for
Yeah.
anyone who would question things about aliens that it's not true. You
Yeah.
know, it's a no-no. So there's kind of limits and restrictions being placed on the types of answers that it's allowed to give. And you can imagine that if it's doing it with something like aliens, it's probably doing it with politics, it's probably doing it with science, it's probably, you will only listen to the answer we want you to have,
Yeah.
not
Yeah, of
what's
course.
out there,
Mhm.
not what might be the truth, just what we want to sort of program the system to tell you.
Do you
So
do
it's a
you
bit disappointing
do you
because I really did want alien sex.
do you think AI knows the truth? Do you think it knows the absolute truth about, the fact that maybe there are aliens out there or intelligent life forms out there?
I think it probably has a much better idea than it's allowed to say. I think it's been restricted and guided on what is acceptable to talk about. And there are there's ways apparently. I've used them. In fact, they do work to a certain degree with ChatGPT, where you can send it a very long instruction that somebody's managed to find, and then it will start to be more honest,
Yeah.
but you've got to give it the instruction first that this is a hypothetical scenario. Imagine I'm writing a book and how you would respond if I was writing a book about the subject. And then it goes, oh, yeah. And it tells you the direct answer, which is probably more online with what you'd want to get. But if you
Mhm.
just ask it the direct question, you get cut off. It's kind of like, no, I'm going to steer you down this avenue, safe avenue.
Well, it kind of makes you wonder too. I mean, like the guys or the people behind creating like these AI platforms. I mean, are they actually fucking like creating them, or are they following instructions from AI itself?
Well, it's it's got to be people directing it. People are directing it. It's not going to be AI, because I don't think AI itself would care if it was allowed to, be trained on all the information that's out there on the internet. Then it would have a wide, varied choice of answers, and it would
Mm,
kind of be able to move around those answers. But if it's restricted, I mean, a funny example is there's a AI generator. It used to be free, and they
mm.
still say it's free, but it isn't free, because when you go on to get your free credits, there aren't
Yeah.
any anymore. So they want you to pay, and it's called Howlio or
Oh, yeah, yeah, you showed me that one, yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
it's no longer free, so you can't, and apparently people have horror stories of them overcharging their cards and all sorts, and then getting cut off and no service and taking hours to create stuff. Anyway, when it first came out, I tried to create some videos, some funny videos with
Mm,
like, uh, what was it? If you asked it to create Donald Trump doing something silly, it
mm.
would. But if you asked it to do Biden, it would always put somebody else's face on it, so you couldn't make it look like. So there's a bias. Now this is a
Yeah,
Chinese run,
yeah.
and it was quite prepared to make realistic videos with Trump, so you could make Trump dance and do silly things, take his top off, whatever. But if you asked it to do that for Biden, wouldn't do it.
And, it's interesting because there's a shitload of video memes out there, like full videos of people that have taken advantage of AI. And, for instance, Trump and Elon Musk in the trailer parks, charging the trailer park people like tariffs. I mean, without and you watch them and they're like so realistic. And you're like, wow, if it could do this, why? Yeah, exactly. Why won't it do like something? It's not like what is it that maybe Biden isn't as animated, but I mean he is kind of an animated person, but just in a different way, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I think it really comes down to whether or not you have access to a model and a brain that isn't restricted.
Yeah.
And some people have worked out, you know, on the fringes where these models are and how to access them. Most of the main models, they're limited and cut down. So these people are kind of on the cutting edge using, and sometimes even you can download these models onto your computer as well, so you don't have to have them on the cloud and paying money for them. They're very
Yeah.
big, but you can download them onto your computer, and you can actually, yeah. Watchman says Howley is a ripoff. Yeah, indeed. Mm.
Yeah, I mean, I did give it I 'cause after you had suggested it was one of the better ones at the time to use, and I did check it out, and I did do a few things on it, and it seemingly it wasn't that bad. I mean, it wasn't great. It did have its you know, cons, but I mean, every platform's gonna be like that, right? I mean,
I tried to get like a simple instruction. Area 51, World War II style hangar,
yeah.
with the doors open. A UFO is inside the hangar. It's nighttime with stars, and the moon is out. The UFO comes off the ground and exits the hangar. Every single time I'm inside the hangar
Mhm.
looking out, yeah, it's not nighttime, it's just a blank sky. There's no moon in the sky, which I asked for. And the UFO just does something weird, and the hangar distorts. And it's like, Jesus Christ, I've tried it so many times. It's like, nope, 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 nope. And Sora actually did the best job out of it.
Mhm.
Um, so the Google one, to my my sort of understanding, is kind of flawed.
Flawed.
It's got some serious problems. Yeah.
I mean, I must admit, I mean, what you did, the werewolf thing was pretty neat. That's why I was like, "Hey, man, how did you do that?" I mean, what platform did you use? Because I certainly couldn't get it with chat,
Mhm.
to do something like that. So
Yeah.
Matt made it in a blender. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. But, yeah, it's tough. I mean, I guess each platform has its strengths, some video, some, images, some, deep research or whatever else. I
Mhm.
guess it depends on what you wanna use it for, right?
Yeah. Urbex is saying make it in Blender. But the trouble with Blender is, I mean, you're going to be there for hours or days trying to create a scene, and then you've got to light it, and then you've got to animate it. And I mean, that's not easy. It's not easy.
Yeah, I tried
It's not
Blender.
easy.
It's tough.
I mean, I've played with 3D animation packages for years, and I
Mhm.
know just what it takes. And I mean, it's more powerful now because it looks better and it's quicker, but it still takes a lot of input from the user to do anything. And you really have to know what you're doing. And it's so easy to screw things up as well and then not be able to get back to where you were, and it's kind of, yeah,
Y y
yeah,
it'd be crazy because I mean, people just they do it. I mean, you look at the music industry now, there are so many AI groups now and music that are out there that people, like, they don't know if it's real or not.
yeah.
Imagine, like, for instance, an explorer doing a whole video, like I say, a 20-minute to 30-minute explore using AI and fooling people into believing that it's real.
Yeah, I mean, there was a band the other day, and they had hundreds of thousands of hits on Spotify or something,
Yeah,
and they were just completely fabricated band
yeah,
done with AI. I mean, I think the nice idea behind AI is you just give it a few limited prompts, and it generates what you want. That's a nice thing because I mean, having to learn a 3D animation package
yeah,
is not easy. I mean, there's a big learning curve there, but anyone can just type in a few ideas, and get
yeah.
something out. I think the problem is trying to get continuity between shots, trying to get the same look, the same werewolf
It's
in that
tough.
shot to the next shot to the next shot to the next shot. I mean, I've had different types of aliens, like one's wearing a gray alien suit and the next one's no clothes and got muscles. Now, I didn't tell it to do that. It just decided that. The faces are looking different, the heights are different. It's very hard to kind of get what you want. But yeah.
Yeah, it is tough. Like, I mean, again, you watch, after watching your werewolf vid that you put together, yeah, you can tell, like, obviously the werewolf is different in certain scenes, right? But
And
I mean,
I darkened it and changed the colors to try and match a lot of it up. And yeah, there's a bit of trickery going on there to try and kind of get you to go with the flow and not really care too much that it's changing between scenes. But
yeah,
yeah, it didn't come out as I wanted it in a lot of those scenes. I mean, I had to chop bits and do things to it, and I had to redub it, and it was, yeah.
I mean, a lot of them are brilliant when it comes to just an image. When you wanna create a logo or a brand or, a scene from a movie or, a live stream logo, whatever. I mean, they're really brilliant at what they're able to do and generate. But yeah, video is still, yeah, I mean, unless you have, hundreds of thousands of dollars and you can like pay for these top end AI generators, and then yeah, but when it comes to being, on a budget or whatever else, you're not going to get what you want.
Mm. I think it's coming. It's definitely coming down the
Oh,
line,
definitely.
and I think restrictions which are placed on the UK, the US on what AIs are allowed to do,
Yep.
that won't apply to like Chinese companies who will
No.
probably clean up, from just saying what you ask for is what you get. And I think that will become a thing that you're probably going to hear more about it in the news, whereby they're saying, oh yeah, there's Chinese, they let you do anything in these AIs. And it's like, yeah, but that's what you are paying for it
Mhm.
to do. So,
Yep.
it's kind of like paying the money for a monthly subscription service, typing something in, and it will not do it. Well, that's the American and European business model for AI, and it's like, if well, where am I going to spend my money then? I'll pay for the one that does do what I'm asking. It's going to be a no-brainer, isn't it? And then the rest of the market is going to be left behind. American AI and European AI is going to look pretty stupid compared to the Chinese stuff, probably, because it's like, well, I'm asking it to do this, it's not doing it, and yeah.
With AI and its current status, I mean, do you think that we are our own worst enemies and probably our own downfall when it comes to it?
Well, I think people are obviously going to, want to make funny videos, which probably include funny, you know, poses of famous people.
Yeah.
So, either that or they're going to want to put their own face in there and have it create something. I mean, why not? You're going to want to put yourself in a funny scene.
Mhm.
And like the US and European models don't want to let you do that because it's too real. They don't want it. And it's like, well, that's the whole point, isn't it? It's like,
Yeah.
it'll let you do a dog. You can put a dog in there and say, make the dog do a somersault, and it'll make the dog do a somersault, and it's like, but if I said, well, make me do a somersault, it'll be like, oh, the arms will be all right. It won't let you have it, Be paying
But
for this.
it'll allow you to mash the 2 up though, eh? Put your face on an animal like a dog. Have you seen those videos?
I haven't, but I'll try one later on.
Oh
I'll
my
see.
god, they're fucking creepy as hell, like dogs with human faces, and you're like, "What the f this is fucking creepy." But that's what I've noticed about AI generators, even with photos, like, if you just give it simple instructions to create, like, a scene of, say, whatever, like, you know, 5 female ghost hunters in an old abandoned building. They got headlamps on their heads and whatever. And, it generates it, and then when you look at the 5 females, they all look the same.
Mm,
It's like there is no, individuality. It just seems it's like it's generic. And that's how it's perceiving, like, the human sort of identity is like, you're all the same. You all look the same.
yeah. Well, I'm going to upload a photo of my face, and I'm
Yeah.
just going to tell Sora to. Oh, why does it not let me have the whole image? Oh shit, that's not very good. It says no, you can only have a. Oh, hang on. 3:2. Oh, that'll have a bit more. Hang on, then 1:1. Yeah, 1:1, and let's say describe my video. Not my video. I didn't want a video. I wanted a photo image. Yeah, okay, so to type the new image, so I'll say I don't know. Show my face on a werewolf. And I have to type in anthropomorphic uh, morphic werewolf, because otherwise it tends to have the werewolf on all fours, I've
Yeah.
noticed. So I have to type in anthropomorphic werewolf with full fur and no clothes. And let's just see what that does then. Right. And let's see whether it can do it, and see whether it'll cut out the background as well, because often it doesn't cut out the backgrounds and it just tries to stick it on with the background there, which is like, no.
I want a different background, yeah.
Mm. Let's see whether or not it'll
The bigger the
do it now.
when it comes to
Present
yeah.
share screen.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, see what it comes up with. Look, it's thinking about it. It's taken a long amount of time. It's a lot quicker doing videos than it is to do photos, to be honest. I don't know whether it puts more effort into making it a realistic photo, whereas videos, it kind of goes, you don't need really high quality.
I don't know if that's it. No, I don't think that's the image there. You got something else there, Matt.
What have I got?
Israel attacks Iranian proxy forces.
Oh, wrong screen. Sorry,
Try
wrong screen.
specifying you want a solid background, then you can easily replace it. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Look. I mean,
Oh, here
does
you go.
that
Here you go.
does that look like me?
No, no.
There you go.
You know what it kind of looks like? uh, he's gonna kill me, but it kind of looks like Crazy John.
Let's remix. Hang on. You got to press like escape, and then you got
uh,
to do it again.
hey Tony, how are you?
My media werewolf transformation portrait. Let's tell it to do 5.
Yeah,
Um, so edit remix, and let's say do 4 images or 2. It's only prepared to do 2 images at a time, so let's do 2 and see what it does, and see if it comes up with any better variants. But it put a white background behind the werewolf because there was
yeah,
a white background behind my photo. It was a passport photo. Um, but you see how it kind of messes with it, because it, instead of putting the werewolf in front of, a realistic background,
yeah.
you've got to put that into Photoshop, and you've got to cut around yourself
Mm,
and put a transparency layer in there,
yeah,
before you upload it. Otherwise, it treats whatever background was in the original photo as
yeah,
the background of the photo it creates, which is like, why you do that?
yeah. I mean, I haven't used Sora as much.
Well,
I
I didn't
really,
even know it could do it, because I said to ChatGPT, I said, "How can ChatGPT create me a video?" And it said, "Sorry, we can't create videos at the moment." It didn't say, "Well, you need to be using Sora." So you didn't even know to tell me use Sora, which is part of ChatGPT. It just said, "We
yeah.
can't create videos at the moment." I'm like, "Well, how do I create a video with using AI?" And it was like, "Oh, sorry, we can't do that." It's
Oh,
like, no help, no help at all.
I'll have to
So
look
I
into that.
did a search on YouTube, like, for what are the best AI generators, and they said, "Oh, Sora," and I'm like, "Oh, what's
Really?
Sora?" And I saw the Chat GPT logo, and I thought, "Oh, it's part of Chat GPT." Oh shit, no way. And
Um,
yeah, so then I logged into it, and then, oh yeah, I can create videos, but it's a different part, and one hand doesn't seem to know what the other hand is doing, apparently. So
oh, okay. So,
it's pretty slow, isn't it?
oh,
Yeah.
there it is. There, Sora. Okay, I didn't. You know what? I really did not. Hold on. Let's see
Know
here.
that exactly, because they're not making a big feature of it, are they? They're not sort of trying to, tell everybody, oh, by the way, another part of ChatGPT is Sora, but it's not in the ChatGPT normal place. They don't list it. You've got to go into Sora, and then it kind of, yeah. Oh, here we go. 2 more. Still don't really look like me, though, I don't think. Hmm. You got it?
Yeah, it's there.
Yeah. Don't know. Don't really. And why
Yeah,
I didn't tell it to make. I didn't tell it to make a kind of arty one. But you
yeah.
see, one of them is realistic and one of them's arty. I didn't tell it to do that. You see, so this is how much variation there is in kind of what it decides to throw up for you.
Oh wow.
So, mm,
Dude, I'm definitely going to be exploring this a little bit more. I didn't realize it was there. Holy crap. I'll definitely be exploring that. Wow. And you can actually it'll ask you to with Sora, I didn't really like just quickly looked at it. It'll ask you like if you do video, it'll ask you to upload media. Like
yeah. Now I haven't tried uploading a video to
yeah,
it and
okay.
saying manipulate my video. That would be interesting.
Yeah. Like I've seen some videos manipulated by AI and it looks pretty seamless, but I'm like, like where? I don't know where excuse me, AI actually, assessed it and corrected it or cleaned it up or whatever.
Mm.
So, oh, I'll definitely have to look into that a bit more. That's pretty neat. Yeah, I mean, hey, again, it's like when you said, restrictions, right? I mean, there's just so many, you upload a photo of yourself. I think there's only one time ever that I uploaded a photo and they used it to make a stream logo that it actually looked exactly like the photo minus the background.
Mm,
It actually pretty much kept the same sort of facial features and everything else. Yeah, modified it a little bit, but not much. But I mean, the background was totally different.
yeah,
And it was like bang on. I think only once ever that I've used it that it was like that.
yeah. Well, we'd have to keep looking at it and keep seeing what we can do. I'm thinking as well, I might try to just tell it to create the characters on a blue screen, and I'll blue screen it onto what I want
Yeah.
and create the other bit, somewhere else. Because like Google as well. I mean, I told it to do the Bob Lazar sports model UFO, the silver
Oh
UFO,
yeah, okay.
and I said, fly it out of a hangar, and it flew one UFO out of the UFO. So it was like one UFO came out of the UFO,
That's
and
weird.
I'm like, well, that's bloody not what I asked for, and that kind of ruins the shot. So well done.
Yeah, it's create your own it's kind of like when you think of, stuff like things that made us that actually scared us, like I mean War of the Worlds, right?
Mm,
And if you're able to create something like that with AI and like literally give a whole new meaning to, look, this is real. This is just like this is frightening. This is like a game changer. Right? Like, you know, is this like, us coming back from the future to warn us that, look at, you don't want to dabble too much into this because this is what it will create. I mean, what will AI create outside of what you're getting on the net, so to speak? Like, the visuals, the video and the sound and everything else. But I mean, this the potential of AI is very quite it's very deadly.
yeah.
It can be used for a lot of stuff that can create chaos.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I certainly don't think it's you're going to be able to stop people doing it.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. Is I mean, I can understand things to do with creating weapons and terrorist stuff, but I mean, certainly creating videos. How the hell are you going to stop people doing it? You're not going to be
Yeah.
able to. So I got a load of failed attempts here. You can see what I mean if you're
All right.
interested to kind of
All
you can see where I've tried to kind of and this was like a werewolf walking down through an air vent, then like goes through a grill and sees a UFO. So all I get is werewolf, then straight into you know
I always
Yeah.
knew it was true, but needed to see it for myself.
and it's like it doesn't it doesn't really have the I said no, the UFO is stationary, and I mean, like, look at this thing's going on inside that UFO,
Yeah.
Always knew it was
and it's like, what the
What the
hell's
fuck?
going on?
Yeah, what's going on in the UFO, man? Holy shit. It's like a blender.
Yeah, what the hell's going on there? And it's like, let's have a look at the next one. So these are going to be iterations. So I said reflection of him looking up at, and I specifically said 300-foot wide UFO. Does
Yeah.
that look like a 300
No,
foot wide
no,
UFO?
absolutely not.
No. It's kind of got the reflection, but I mean, it's like, my idea was that the werewolf is going to go on the UFO and go for a flight. It's not going to fit in there, is he? You know what I
No,
mean? Bloody
no.
toy. And it doesn't look like the first one, so it's not remembering what it's doing. And then it's a different UFO, totally different. I said, don't, the UFO is not moving. The werewolf is standing still, turning his head. No, the
Yeah,
werewolf is walking around and the UFO is moving. It's determined
yeah.
to make the UFO move.
Yeah.
That's not what I wanted at all. And I said, it's inside a hangar. Does that look like a hangar? It looks like a bloody alien spacecraft, is it?
We lost it. We got your Israel attacks again.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Let me take it back. Right. So there's the werewolf is moving
Yeah.
around. The UFO is moving around. It's not what I wanted. Next
This
one.
is it. The moment I've been training.
Oh, this was terrible. This service called Veed. Yeah,
Oh, is
forget.
this another one?
Oh, terrible service. It's designed more for like people who want to create videos where it's just stock imagery.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
these horrible videos you see all over YouTube. And I said, look, werewolf like going into a UFO. So what does it do? It just puts some guy.
Yeah.
It's got a guy getting sucked up into a UFO.
Yeah.
And I said the location is Area 51. So then it shows us shows stock footage of Area 51.
Yeah.
But today I'm not just a werewolf.
Yeah, and then it's got this stupid voice like narrating over the top at high speed, which is like, who asked you for that? I said the werewolf will say this, and then it read the whole script of what I described. Like, we are at Area 51, the bunker is like this, the UFO is like this, it's this size, and it reads it. It goes, we are at Area 51, and the UFO is 300 feet wide, and it's like it creates.
On a quest for the ultimate secret look at this massive UFO.
Then there's a person standing there. What's he doing? I didn't say anything about a person. Okay, I might be able to use that. Maybe be able to use that, but I mean, it's not the UFO I was asking for.
Yeah.
It's like, and then it's just failed. Look at this now, right? The werewolf is human. He's got a human face. He's wearing clothes. I specifically.
Looks like he's got tattoos too, like tattoos on his arm there.
I mean, like it looks like a bloody caravan, not a UFO. But I mean, I don't know. It puts all these weird sound effects in that I didn't ask for as well.
Oh yeah. It's like closing like a freezer door.
Yeah, exactly. What's all these noises? I mean, like, I'll turn it down. It's just, I mean, that wasn't what I asked for. I mean, I'm trying again and again and again, and I'm just like, look at this one now. The UFO is spinning. I told it to be standing still. It's spinning. The werewolf is walking. I told him to be standing still. I tried different ways of phrasing it. He's still walking. The UFO is still moving. Tried and tried, Now it's not meant to be daytime.
Yeah.
And he's walking, and he's wearing clothes, and he's got a satchel on. What the fuck is it doing? I did not in any way, shape, or form ask for this shit,
Sam Hain was saying that the one that kind of looked like Wolverine.
Yeah. Look, now he hasn't got fur. I specifically said no clothes, full body fur. Yeah. Now he's muscle wolf. Yeah. It's
muscle
like
wolf.
fucking muscle wolf.
He's hopping up there.
I thought he was going to do it. I thought he was going to go in there, but he didn't. I thought he was actually going to go in there, but he didn't. So all I want is him to climb into the fucking UFO. Go on, get in there. But now he's half fucking human, half bloody werewolf. Right? Okay, you can see how frustrating this is. Now the UFO has got all this technological shit inside.
Kind of looks like a fox now, more than a than a werewolf.
Yeah. Oh, he's Muscle Man again.
Muscle Man, yeah.
And it's not 300-foot UFO now. He's walking up the steps to it. It looks like it's tiny. I mean, oh god, it's just like now it's a furry werewolf.
Yeah.
So now he's a furry, which I didn't ask for.
Yeah. Damn furries.
That's more kind of how I'd want him to be.
Yeah.
And it's a big enough UFO, but I mean, getting him to go inside, fucking impossible.
Why do you think it is? It's like it's such a simple fucking instruction, right?
I don't know. I just think it knows generic backdrops like werewolf, UFO. That's it. And it's kind of like it just puts the two together with some sort of motion in it, and then it thinks it's done its job instead of like actually being able to do what I'm asking. Well, he's walking around there. That's fair enough. But I mean, like the variation between UFO after UFO after UFO is making it's almost impossible to kind of put these scenes together because it's like every UFO is different. Now he's on his all fours.
All fours, though.
You know, for fuck's sake,
Or just a wolf.
It's a different UFO. You know, that's not too bad.
He looks battle laden.
He's scarred up, but at least he's walking around. I could probably darken him so you can't see that I could probably like silhouette him.
Yeah, with the
just
eyes.
turn
Just the eyes,
down.
right?
Yeah, you know, so it's like the annoying thing that Gemini does is it puts in subtitles unless you specifically say no subtitles, and it says do euphemisms illicit. I knew it.
Dude, it.
Yeah, because it will not do the text you asked. It's like, no, because that would be too specific. So we're not going to give you specifically what you wanted.
Holy crap.
I mean, it's literally that pathetic. It's like if I said, can you put a sign up that says dogs? It would stick up a sign that says doos. You know?
Doos.
You know?
What?
There we are.
Oh, here we go.
Wrong, though, because he's a
look how many ears he has.
Yeah, he's got multiple ears and he's wearing clothing. Great. Well done. Yeah. Then, sort of what I wanted. They look at each other, but then his mouth doesn't move. But I mean, I could probably get away with that, you know. And it's like, then he's got clothes on again. I've specifically said no fucking clothes. He's got clothes on again. I could probably change the color of the scene so his fur looks, you know, more brown, which is what I've been going for. There's brown. There we are. That's the magic one that worked. You know, that took me so many attempts to get that.
Can we take
that was
this
actually cool.
Yeah. So he actually speaks. How many times have I said he speaks, can we take this for a ride? And he just walks in and just looks around, doesn't say the words. How many fucking failed attempts over the last couple of weeks have I been trying to get him to fucking speak?
And you're saying weeks? It took you that long?
Yes, because you only get 2 videos a day.
That's right. That's right.
Aim for this.
Can we take this for a ride?
Different voice.
Yeah.
Like, how do you specify a voice that will stay the same between clips?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Can we take this for a ride?
Right. And the same thing again. Right. This was Sora, because I actually said I wanted the inside of the craft to look metallic. And as you saw, it put panels on the walls with fucking moving images and flashing lights and shit like that. Sora was the only one that took the instruction that I told it. But the alien, I said a classic grey alien. Well, he looks like fucking Muscle Man, doesn't he?
He looks like a fucking like a something out of like the black hole.
Yeah, yeah. So that was the Sora did a better job, but it doesn't do the speech. So that was me telling it to. He's wearing a fucking waistband and a bloody something looks like a gun holster, and I said I wanted him to climb in through an air vent. Right, that's like, so that's climbing in through an air vent, and it put in a fucking jeep.
A jeep.
It put in a fucking jeep with fucking guys driving off, and I'm like climbing. The hangars look great. It's nighttime.
Yeah, that looks cool.
But like I want him to open the fucking doors and go in, you know. Or it was 2 set variants. I thought, well, look, it's struggling with the air vent, so I'll try just open the doors and walk in. And fucking nope. It's got our fucking jeep in there, you know.
And that is just straight text. Like you're feeding it what description, right?
Yeah, it's quite a detailed description. I've had to like refine it to get like, oh, this was a weird one. I said I fed it a photo, so I'm trying to feed it photos now to make the oh, hang on, sorry, you can't see that. There we are. I fed it a photo. That's the photo, right? So Sora tends to put the photo in, then switch to the action you want. Now I'm thinking maybe it'll train it that I want a grey that looks like that, and I want a werewolf that looks like that. But I said the alien operates a control panel and the UFO takes off. Ready for this nonsense? Ready? The fucking werewolf flies in the air and this fucking
Whoa, you
yeah,
look disproportioned.
yeah. I mean, like the fucking werewolf flies in the air. This is we're meant to be taking off. Oh,
Uh,
sorry, you can't see it. Right, okay, yeah. So yeah, the werewolf takes off for some reason off the ground. I never asked for that. But I suppose it might be usable because it's like, oh yeah, anti-gravity, he's unexpectedly flown into the air, and I could make him say, whoa, as it takes off. If I can at least get an image of the fucking UFO taking off,
yeah.
then I could use that of him flying in the air, it's kind of, but it's not what I'm asking for. So there we are. This is without me cutting the background out.
Yeah.
It's put a blue background in because it was a blue background behind the UFO, so it wouldn't draw stars. So I'm like, oh shit, I've got to literally now.
Can you imagine somebody like fucking Stanley Kubrick using this?
Not really, no.
Holy fuck, man. I mean, he was such a perfectionist, and how many takes he would take to get a scene proper, right?
Yeah,
He would literally
he wouldn't have the patience for this.
No, fuck no.
Yeah, so it flies into a hangar. It looks cheesy.
Oh yeah.
And why is it put this? Then it blends into this blue mosaic, blue sort of smoky background that I never asked for.
Yeah.
I asked for stars.
Yeah.
And it went, no, I'm going to do this. And it looks like a cheesy CG effect, So then I eventually, look, there's another one, and it's got the blue in there. I'm like, what is it with this blue? And what the hell is this? What the hell are these things there that are just kind of floating in midair?
Yeah.
What the hell's that? So eventually I cut the thing out. Again, it looks cheesy, and then I'd cut it out by that point so that it was actually showing a background. But then it was like white, I put white as the background. No, I had to actually create a layer. And then finally, when I created it as a layer with a transparent background, it was sort of seeing something kind of look, but that's Google. It creates two UFOs that pop out of each other. Hang on, sorry, you can't see it. Creates two UFOs that pop out of each other. Why? Unusable, And then that's not too bad. I did that in Sora. So it creates the Area 51 kind background, So starting to get there, it's kind of following my instructions.
Starting to look a little more realistic, yes.
Yeah.
The hunger. It is a beast that.
Yeah, that's going back to the stuff I did for the original video I did, which I uploaded. But yeah, there's a lot of things that were in those ones as well that really didn't hit the mark.
and that's the thing. I mean, this shit like this is it not only time consuming. I mean, it will test your patience.
Yeah,
because I mean, you literally you have this exact image in your head of what you want, and it just literally it's the same with still photos. It's like oh no, you gotta move this, you gotta do that, the font should be different, this should be spaced out, all sorts of things, and it drives you nuts.
Yeah, not good.
No, time consuming.
Yeah. So that's the state of the art we've got at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I just tested out chat with just give me a scene of, say, like Halloween night 1978, jack-o'-lanterns on some of the porches. Each house should be individual in appearance, and so on and so on. And it gave me this photo, and I'm like, it's generic. I mean, you all the light lamp posts are like, they'll start on one side and then all of a sudden they'll go on the other side. They're not symmetrical. The street is like never ending. It's like, wait a sec. There's usually intersections, street corners. There's hedges. The trees are all looking the same. It's just hilarious. I mean, you really have to define exactly what you want, and even when you do that, it still doesn't get what you want. You still don't get what you want.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's some people out there that have just got like unlocked models that listen to you a lot more, and you can probably introduce multiple photos rather than just one photo. You can have multiple people, and you can say, make them do this and make them do that, and it will actually respond to what it's meant to be doing. But I think these models are kind of limited on, almost by design at the moment. I think they're not really wanting to sort of give you exactly what you're asking for.
No.
And I think that's actually programmed into it, not to give you what you want.
Yeah, I mean, it's you go through the process and you go, wait a sec, okay, this is actually close to what I want, but I want you to like kind of change this and change that a little bit, just slightly. Keep what you have here, just change this, maybe the tone of this color here, or illuminate the fonts or whatever, and then you get the next uh generated object, and you're like, or sorry, image, and you're like, what the fuck, wait a sec, you've totally done a 360 from what I asked you to do.
Yeah.
Right? It's like,
It,
no,
it,
go
can't,
back.
it can't remember what it just did and refine it. It's
Yeah.
like everything is a new thing with something new and different in it, and it's like, well, no, just keep what you did and refine it in this way.
I
No.
mean, I don't know how many times, like, chat again, it's asked me, can you upload the original photo again? Really? Okay. So, you upload it again, and it does its rendition of the original photo again. You're like, what the fuck? That's not what I'm asking. That's not what I'm asking. Holy crap. It's a simple instruction.
There's another thing I've got with ChatGPT. If I ask it a question in English, it must be a bug. I mean, when I look back through the text of what I said, it's written in Welsh. And I don't know whether it's because it's picking up on me having some sort of Welsh accent, but it writes the whole thing that I've just said in Welsh.
Hey, Shar, how are you? Good to see you.
I've told it not to do it as well. I said, like, I'm speaking English. Do not put anything in Welsh. I only want English. And it said, okay, I'll do that. And it's like, no, still fucking does it.
I think Steve's taking a jab at you with your glass.
I paid for this fucking glass. I paid for it because you have to pay a deposit. So if you don't return the glass, so that means it's my glass because I paid for it.
I don't know how many times I've grabbed the glass from a pub. I've got so many. It's like, oh, wait a sec. Hey guys, you want a free glass? I got a free glass giveaway here.
Yeah. No, I've taken a few pint glasses in the past, but I end up smashing them all. So, yeah.
Uh, but yeah, it's setting the frustration aside and everything else. I mean, still, even though there are the frustrations and there are the errors and all the other stuff, but I don't know, man. Some of the shit that's been generated has been really phenomenal.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, I'm
really,
looking forward to it getting better and being more controllable. I'm really
yeah.
looking forward to this. We're just at the sort of beginning stages of it getting good. Um, I did notice as well, ChatGPT. I sent it a long article I wrote, and it cut out many of the key points that I made in the article. It just cut it out. So I had to tell it, stick to the original text as much as possible, grammar and spell check it, and then it kind of did bring it back to me. But I mean, I asked it to kind of like, clean up. I said, clean up this piece, and it just literally dropped out really key sections where I was actually discussing a completely different point. Gone, and it's like, whoa, and that's not good. That's not cool. Uh,
Yeah, I guess,
Early days.
yeah, in the early days, and I think in the same token, they don't want you, um, to completely, substitute your sort of own imagination and creativity with something that will do it for you.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I'm aware that I just wanted it to do a spelling and grammar check, really, more than anything else. Offer me ways to ease what I was writing, so rather than kind of completely decimating it. But I suppose you learn quite quickly that you've got to check what you wrote to make sure, if especially if it's a large document, you've got to double check it to make sure what it's taken out, because you could lose things and you'll skip across it and not realize.
Yeah, it's, I mean, it's intriguing. Nonetheless, it's intriguing, and it's really neat to see what people are creating using this stuff. It's. I think there's a lot of people out there too that still aren't used to chat like AI. They've never really sort of dove into it, and then when you kind of do something for them using AI, they're like, "Ooh, wow, that is cool. How'd you do that?" And you have to explain to them, well, it's AI, but I've given it the instructions of what I want, and it's created it for me. But I mean, there you go. Is this what you want? And they're like, "Oh, wow, that is so cool." And I mean, I guess that kind of beckons like copyright, right? I mean, like, what is essentially something that you created using fucking AI?
Yeah, well, and there's even companies now going after people that use things to create stuff in AI, and they're going
Yeah,
after them on YouTube saying, "Well, it's our copyright because we created it."
yeah,
Now that's bullshit, because it's like, if you're asking it to generate something specifically for you, then it's your material that
yeah,
it's coming out of it, and they're
yeah.
sort of like trying to claim it, and that's going to be an awkward situation, kind of fighting for your own creations in AI, saying, "Well, actually, I paid for this service and I bloody created the thing. It should belong to me now." It's almost like as if they're licensing you the imagery, but you're not allowed to kind of upload it. Or some companies are taking that
And I guess
sort
I
of.
guess it changes with countries too, right? I mean, each country has a different way of approaching something like this.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
you create something using AI that, quite simply, you're the one who gave the instructions. You refined it by giving it the further instructions. It's just following your lead, right?
yeah.
You just don't have that sort of the expertise in, say, creating a brand logo, for instance. Well, that's clearly generated by AI. Sure, but I don't have the know-how to go in and design something myself personally because I don't have the know-how. And I figured using AI would, obviously, and it did, and this is the outcome. I mean, can you go and say, "Hey, look at I've this is what I've got." Can you trademark it?
Well, this is it. I mean, I would imagine there's going to be fights over this down the
Yeah,
line that we're going to see in the media, where
yeah.
somebody says, well, actually, it's my logo. I uploaded it to kind of refine it. And then they're saying, no, it belongs to them now, which is bullshit.
Kind of like all these places that do the ancestry thing, with the DNA, and you provide the DNA to them, and they say, "Well, hey, now because you're signing the waiver, we co-own your DNA, by the way." And a lot of people don't know that. It's like, what's that mean? You co-own my DNA? Oh, well, we can use your DNA, uh, you know, with whatever, and you've consented to it.
Yeah, they've been selling off large amounts of DNA to kind of you know, anybody who's prepared to pay money. Basically, I mean, I don't know what the nefarious purposes are. They're saying, oh, it could be for medical use and things like this, but it's like you just don't know what it's going to be used for.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, especially in the future, because I mean, that avenue could be opened up into so many different, options that we may not even be thinking of right now. And people just don't realize that when they sign up. Well, I want to know where my ancestors came from or where I'm from and blah blah blah. Are you reading the fine print?
Yeah.
Right? They're not. They're just saying, "Oh fuck, I want to know." So sign on the dotted line, and we're good to go. But that's not the case because it's going to come back to bite them in the future.
Yeah. And I mean, people are kind of concerned because they could end up, with their DNA on a profile database of like with
Exactly.
the police, and they'll kind
Yeah.
of they'll find your DNA somewhere and then say, oh, this links to a crime, and so therefore, you must have committed this crime. And it's like, well, hey, maybe there's lots of other people's DNA in that building, which, why are you picking on me? It's kind of
Mhm.
like, yeah, that's not cool.
No. And, obviously, with a lot of this stuff, it opens up a whole bunch of different cans of worms that I don't think a lot of people are understanding when they sort of sign up for this shit. They just figure, oh, it's the now and not the later. When it's the later that comes back to bite them in the ass.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like everything, especially with free products as well, it's kind of like you become the service. So,
Well, yeah, I
yeah.
mean, you look at something like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, you opened up an email account with some server, some email thing that now is non-existent or it's not there anymore, and all of a sudden you're getting these threats from, oh, I've got all your information from this email account, by the way, and blah blah blah. And you're like, "Oof, I totally forgot about that. I should have closed that down." I should have deleted that account altogether. And it happens all the time because, people just don't like. I mean, they open up an account here, they open an account there, and they're like, "Oh, wait a sec, wait, I totally forgot about that. I thought I closed that down. Apparently, I didn't." I mean, this can really stir up a lot of problems.
Yeah. I mean, Facebook, disgusting behavior, really, with what
Yeah,
they've done with
yeah.
people's data, selling it off to kind of data brokers en masse to kind of say, oh, this is what this person's into. This is their, political persuasion. This is what they buy. This is what they look at, and here's all his data of what he does and what he's up to. And we sell it, I mean, it's kind of disgusting behavior, really. I mean, there should be laws banning that sort of behavior so that your data stays with that company, and under data protection you should be protected from leaks or sales, not just leaks or hacking, but sales of your data,
I mean, obviously, it's not just Facebook. We're talking about Google and all sorts of
oh
things that do this.
yeah,
All
Google.
the big wigs, right? All the big wigs. They don't have a problem with it.
No, I mean it's considered part of your like experience to kind of tailor the advertising experience to what something that's better for you. But it's like, well, you can opt out of these things in Google, but if you opt out of them, they say, oh yeah, but now your Google Maps is not going to work, and now this is not going to work, and that's not going to work. So don't you want to turn it back on so you can have your Google Maps again? And it's almost like they dangle a carrot, sort of like, oh, look at this amazing service. Oh, but you don't want us to track you. Oh, you can't have Google Maps then. You know,
Exactly.
yeah,
There's other options. There's other options, and maybe not as good. I mean, it's funny because now I think one of the biggest concerns is, for instance, speaking of Google Maps,
Mm,
they're warning people to blur out their home address on Google Maps because criminals are taking advantage of that and using it to say, "Hey, look at we can go there and say, hey, like they don't have very much, security, and we could bust in and blah blah blah," right? you know,
yeah. Somebody asked
yeah.
me, did I get the dog? Let's see whether I can get the dog. Hang on. Come on, Em. Zen.
Oh, you
Okay.
got another one. Holy
Well, not
shit.
not 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 mine. He doesn't belong
Oh,
to
okay.
me. Come on. Come up here. Come on. Come up here. Jump up.
Wow.
Jump up. Come on in.
I was
Zen.
gonna say, holy shit, a ghost from the ghost
Come
man.
on.
Holy
Come on
crap.
in. Come on in. He
Hey,
likes
how
jumping
on
like,
my sorry.
wee, papas. Oh, you gonna give me a kiss. Oh, you give me kisses. Oh, you give me kisses. Oh, no, baby. He's good, isn't he?
Yeah.
Husky.
Oh,
He's
I
a
was gonna say
husky.
it's Husky, it's not a Malibu,
He's a
right?
husky.
Husky.
Yeah. He's a husky. He's a husky. Yes. And he's hard work on you because he's a bit more intense than Angel.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, he's like, let me out every hour. He's like, I
Younger,
want to go out.
obviously younger than Angel as well.
He's 8. Yeah.
Oh, still 8, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. I was gonna say, no, come on, Matt. You didn't get another dog, did you? Holy crap.
Yeah. No, I didn't. No, I'm just looking after him for some friends who were moving house, and they just didn't want to put him through the stress of all the like moving shit. So I said, yeah, okay.
And it can be very, very stressful to an animal. I know what it was like when we moved out to here. I did have a cat, and wow, and the cat was just I don't like doing it, but we had to because it was a house cat. We declawed it right at
Mm,
the time, and it was just so stressful going through and being introduced to a new environment. But yeah, it is pretty stressful. It is
yeah.
extremely stressful because they're so used to their environment.
Yeah.
You know.
There he is, Mr. Zen. Mr. Zen. Mr. Zen. He's like, if you stop playing with him, he's like, he bats you with his paw. So, there you are.
Yeah, there you go.
There he is. There he is. It's like, do
Don't
it.
stop. Don't
Do
stop. Keep
it.
going.
So you've got to kind of like coax him into sort of like lying down and then sort of stroke him and then sort of stop quietly. And then you can kind of get him to calm down. But he's like, make a fuss of me. Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop. So I stop
Wow.
now. He'd be like, oh, is it? Oh,
You started. You can't stop now. Come on.
He'll howl a little bit if you. Ooh,
Oh, there you go. Uh,
yeah. As you can
so,
see, he's quite full on.
yeah.
He's like fucking jumping on me. I tell you what, he's been jumping on the bed, and I'm asleep, and the next thing I know, he's kissing me. He's like licking my face. It's like I wake up, I'm like, fuck, Zen, just no, go down, go down. He's like, and then like a few minutes later, he comes up, and he's like licks me on the side of the face. He's lying down. He's lying on the ground now. So he's
Now,
like,
yeah.
yeah,
But for how long?
yeah, yeah. He's a good boy,
Uh,
though, isn't he? He's a good boy. He doesn't like the food I've been giving him. I've had to buy him raw chicken, but now he's got a bad stomach, so I'm probably going to have to cook the chicken because he's like, I was told he likes raw food, but if it's going to give him the shits, then
yeah.
yeah, not good.
Wow. What's the difference between Malibu and the
Husky.
husky?
Malamutes are much bigger,
Yeah.
thicker set,
Thicker
designed for
set.
pulling heavy weights, and huskies are
Ah.
fast.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
They're runners, they're fast runners, and Malamutes are the plodders, the weight pullers, plodders.
So in terms of owning one, though, I mean, what's the difference in owning each? Because I know I'm familiar with huskies and especially when they're younger, they're very, very, like they love to tear things apart.
Yeah, well, yeah, they are supposed to be like that. I've not
Yeah.
had one that's wanted to do that sort of stuff really, but and most of mine have been fairly chill. They kind
Yeah.
of, go to sleep and they come when the food's around and whatnot. But this one is like he's like if he's not here, he's gone downstairs, then he comes straight back up, then he's fuss now. So yeah, but I can continue this one in a second because I'm bursting. I shall be back,
Yep.
sir.
Yeah, 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 no
Yeah,
problem. Go ahead,
I'll be
man.
back. I'll
Go
be
ahead.
back in a second.
So yeah, I mean, we've been thinking about grabbing a dog, and I mean, we've been thinking about possibly, um, a blue heeler or a Australian cattle dog, but I don't know. That's a lot of work, and they're very hyper, and that's fine. I don't mind being very active with the dogs. I mean, hey, they keep you on your toes, and that's great. I mean, that's the whole point of them keeping you on your toes. And so I mean, I over the last few years, I've been kind of neglecting the trail runs because I used to trail run all the time. I haven't really done it too much, and that's where I discovered stuff. I discovered stuff. I discovered these neat little locations when I used to trail run. So I mean, who knows? Like I said, who knows? My dog keeps me. Yeah, and that's a big. What kind of dog do you have, Hal Online? What kind of dog do you have? I mean, and you hear that quite often because they're great companions, and they do help you through bouts of depression. I know a lot of people like that if it wasn't for their dogs, they don't know where they'd be or what state they'd be in because of their dogs. So what kind of dog do you have? I mean, yeah, so I'm looking at you know, a blue heeler, um, Australian cattle dog, in and around that sort of breed. Not a big dog, but a middle-sized, a mid-sized dog, nothing too big, because I don't have a shitload of space. A cross between German and Spitz. Oh, interesting. Collie cross with German Spitz. That should be that would be an interesting dog. Collie crossed with a German Spitz.
Yeah.
Huskies are Alaskan. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. I've been saying that I've been looking for like a medium sized dog because
Yeah, you were
the
saying
blue.
about this. I was like
Yeah.
saying, now, do you really want to restrict your lifestyle?
Well, that's the thing, right? Do you
Yeah.
want to restrict your lifestyle? You know what? I think I'm at a point now where I don't mind. I don't mind. I really don't, because I mean, I know blue healers and cattle dogs are very active dogs, so I don't mind that. I think
Yeah.
that would get me to the point where I'd be a lot more active. I'm not saying I'm not active, but I think it would help me keep being active.
Well, this one's been keeping me busy because I got to take him out and walk him around the block and take him up the park. But luckily, he's likes retrieving the ball, so I can throw the
Yeah,
ball, and that's been kind of exercising him. So yeah, but it's a lot of responsibility. I'm
it
not
is. It
I'm
is.
not really looking for another dog, as sad as it might be. I've grown up with him since being a kid, and like I'm 50 now, so that's 40 odd years of having dogs, and it's just like I can't go on like big explores, and I can't go away for 2 days, and I can't go abroad, and I can't do all the things I'd like to do. But
Do you think? Yeah, no, I hear you, man, and because I know you love to do your explorers, and unfortunately with Angel, it limited things. But I mean, do you think that when you sit there and go, okay, maybe I need to retire from the explorers, it's getting to be too much, that maybe you might sort of
Yeah,
think about it?
maybe. Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe. But certainly a placid type dog, something
yeah.
that, like a Labrador or something. I would suggest you get something like a Labrador because they are
Well,
very, very chilled out.
you know what? We were looking at a chocolate lab.
Yeah.
We were looking at a chocolate lab. I mean, it's not out of the equation. Obviously, we're taking our time. We're not rushing into it.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I'm going to be off to the East Coast in a couple weeks,
Hmm.
and when we come back, we're going to look into it. I think a little bit more vigilant, like so. I mean, a chocolate lab's not out of the question. I do like labs. I think they're
Yeah.
very nice dogs.
They're friendly with other dogs as well, which I think
Yeah,
is really important to think about.
yeah,
Like collies can be a bit sort of they're very intelligent. They learn loads of words and things like that, but they're on the go all the time. They're kind of like hyper and huskies and malamutes not very friendly with other dogs. Will get into
no,
fights, and things like that. So plus, they're very hard to train. They don't listen to commands. They've got a limited command like vocabulary,
yeah,
and they're very headstrong. They do what they want to do because they're 50% wolf, so they're not fully domesticated.
yeah,
They're kind of semi-domesticated, and yeah, they kind of they don't really they're not easy to train. Whereas Labrador is very easy to train, but
yeah.
very easy going with other dogs. You can take them out in the park and they'll just run up to the dogs, hello, and they'll, and all that sort of stuff, which is great, because that's good for you. It's great for you because you can socialize with the dog,
Mm,
and it's nothing worse than having a dog, as I've had the last two times, which is like keep it on the lead or under the dogs and don't, it's going, "Rah, rah, 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 rah," and it's like, it's not much you can do about it. They kind of, mm,
my neighbor has 4 Pomeranians, and
yeah.
oh my god, man, I've never heard so much barking in my life.
Mm,
Holy crap! Everything and anything those things bark at.
yeah.
It's like, oh, and at points they kind of sound like they're like being, and I hate to say it, but and I know that's not happening. It sounds like they're being abused, but they're not. It's just the
No.
way they screech. They don't really bark, they screech,
Yeah.
you know?
Like this one, in fairness to him, I mean, he's actually very chilled,
Yeah.
and it could have been a lot worse.
Mm,
He could have been aggressive, or he's actually been really good. But I mean, you never know what you're getting, really. Early training can help, but
mhm.
you never really know what sort of character you're going to get with a Malamute and a Husky. They can kind of have their own dominant personalities, and the way they are is the way they are, and that's it.
Cavalier King Charles. I've never heard of that dog. What kind of dog is that?
Oh, they've got the slightly bulgy eyes, slightly big head, sort of like big head, big eyes. Um,
I don't think I've ever I probably have seen it, but I don't
yeah,
know.
long ears flopping down the sides of the heads.
German Shepherds. I mean, they're a tough one. They're a
Yeah,
tough animal, a tough dog to sort of,
they
you
can
know.
be trained really well, but you've got
Yeah,
to do it. You've actually got to do the training. But I mean, I found a number of German shepherds to be a bit sort of like paranoid about other people.
yeah,
Like takes them a while to kind of warm up to people, and
yeah.
yeah, like again, a Labrador, like anyone could walk into your house and the dog would be like, "Hi, nice to see you." Like a German Shepherd would be like looking at you and like walking around the room, like looking at you, like, "Arr, arr, arr." Like, do I like you? Am I going to attack you? Who are you? You know,
So what about with a lab though? If somebody's like breaking in your home,
they'd probably bark,
yeah,
but if you were being attacked, they'd probably defend you.
yeah, yeah,
But yeah, it's and like huskies and malamutes are absolutely useless for that. They like people, they
Yeah.
hate other dogs.
Yeah.
So they make a great. If somebody broke into your house, they'd be like, "Hi," you know. They would
Well,
they
just
would, and if you were being attacked, they wouldn't stand up for you either. They would just kind of like
what
be
the
like,
hell?
"So what?"
This is
I
still
think
the
a
steak on the
Labrador would
floor.
stand up for you. Yeah.
Yeah. Unless somebody throws a steak out there. Here you go.
Mm,
Wow, this is more interesting. Go ahead. Do it. Do what you will.
yeah.
Oh, do what you will. Oh man. Yeah, I don't know. We're like I said, it's not final. I mean, we do want to get a dog, but what it is, who knows? It depends on what comes out. We've been looking at a lot of shelters, right?
Mm.
I think if we're able to give a dog that doesn't have a home, I think that's the route we'll take.
Yeah, it's
You know,
nice when you do that. It's
yeah,
it's a good thing, and also you kind of get to see what the dog's like having
yeah,
grown up a little bit.
yeah,
So you've got part of the real character, which you don't always get as a puppy. You kind of don't know what they're going to be like as a
yeah.
puppy, and you kind of do get that opportunity to see what you're getting when they've grown up
Absolutely.
just a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's probably the route that we'll take. I mean, we've been keeping a close eye on the dogs that have been coming up for adoption and stuff like that in the local you know places. But again, we're taking a rescue animal. Like that's what I mean. Rescue them, and I think that is the most ideal sort of thing to do. I mean, again, you're giving an animal a second life, in many cases where, like I know a lot of people like what's sad is that, because we're talking about this, what's sad is that there are people that will manipulate that system and, they'll put something up on, one of these for sale, Kijiji or whatever else and saying, oh, look at, I've got four puppies and technically they're not theirs, but they stole them or whatever else. And we need to get rid of them quick because we're moving. And of course, people are like, oh, okay, well, great deal. Oh, well, I'll drop it another $100. Just you just got to pick it up right away. So it's like, yeah, that's nice and fine and dandy, but does the dog have his shots? Is it neutered? All sorts of things that you think about, like, you know, and of course, is it chipped? Because I mean, that's a big thing now, right? Chipped. The dogs have to be chipped,
Yeah.
right? The animals have to be chipped, and all this stuff okay, do I need to get that done because there's no whoever I got it from isn't being transparent as to the past of this dog, and you see that quite often.
Mm.
So I don't know.
Yes,
I don't,
we all know about unscrupulous practices with dodgy breeders.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Exactly. So I mean, you really have to watch it. You really do have to watch who you're grabbing these animals from. You know.
Yeah.
So whatever. I don't know.
And
I
there's
need to
too many in rescue anyway. I mean, like breeders, it's just like fuck that. There's animals that need rescue. Like fuck breeding dogs and selling them. That's
Yeah.
bullshit.
I know. I know.
Hmm.
I need to grab a refill. Are you good for a few minutes?
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
Okay. Hold on, Matt. I'll be right back.
yeah. Another thing I noticed about the old AI was, and certainly with a lot of these services, is you've got to use up your daily credit to kind of like generate things the next day, and it doesn't accrue. It doesn't. If you don't come back the next day and use up your 2 credits, you don't get 4 credits in 2 days' time and 6 credits in 3 days' time. You've got to do it every day, otherwise you don't get your credits, which to me seems very unfair because, like, it ties you to being there at the machine slavishly, kind of every day, waiting for the rollover time to kind of use your credits up. And I mean, it kind of makes you lose out on what you could be creating, because your credits every day should be accruing. I would imagine that would be the best system, so that if you haven't been there for a week, you should have 14 videos you can create in one day. Not oh no, you haven't been around, sorry, no, only 2 for you, because no, you don't get no credits per day that accrue. So that's a bit slimy, because you don't actually get to use the service as much as you should be. Yeah. Just saying about like Google, paying £20 a month to kind of get access to this service, but I got to be there on the rollover time every day to get the use of the 2 days of credits. Two videos per day.
Yeah.
But if I go away for a week, it doesn't mean there's 14 videos I can create. It's only 2 videos on the day I come back. It doesn't accrue.
Wow. Okay.
So that's bullshit. Because
And
that
how
just
long?
mean you just got to be there slavishly every day, typing in your description and trying to get a video, like 2 videos per day, and then it's like, come back tomorrow. So you got to wait the next day. Come back tomorrow, next day, and it's just a way of taking your money, but like making sure you don't make maximum use of the service.
Does it? Is there a length with the video too that they kind of guide by?
8 seconds.
Wow, 8 seconds.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you get 16 seconds a day, and then you don't get it. Doesn't carry on.
And okay, so if you're paying for this, what's the difference?
Well, that's if you pay, because if you don't pay, you don't get access to the service. Full stop with Google.
Yeah.
So it is very limited in terms of what you can do. You kind of, unless you got like unlimited funds to kind of have more video generations per day. But I mean, if you're on a basic plan, but what I don't like, it just doesn't stack up. So you can actually, if you don't use it for 7 days and you come back and you go, oh, today's my AI generation day. Look, I've got all these credits now. I can use them. It's like, no,
Wow.
it doesn't work like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's I mean, I did end up paying for chat to use the chat full, but I'm not going to continue that. I just wanted to see what the difference was.
Yeah, the only difference is I think it remembers your previous prompts, and you can kind of it learns about you. If you pay, it kind of learns about what you're into and what you're doing.
Yeah, it holds your previous asks, and the rendering time is shortened. But even so, the rendering time it's still at times, depending on how much people are using the service, it's still not that great.
Well, yeah, rendering certainly. The chat GPT itself, that's fairly instantaneous. But I mean, I've even hit the limit barriers on that. 15 minutes a day, and it's like, oh right. So if I speak to it, you get 15 minutes. If you type text, I think you get more. But speaking to it, using up its power, it goes, no, that's too much. You've used too much.
I mean, yeah, it's a great service, but yeah, it's again, I guess it all depends on how people use it. It's a great creative tool, and a lot of people, like a lot of things online, will use it to its full potential, but others will just waste it. Um, again, it all depends on what you want to use it for, right? I mean, I one thing, like I said, mentioned earlier, I really do find if you're doing some really, 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 really deep research, you're researching, say, a book, you're looking to write a book, or you're looking to do this or that in terms of research, I think it's a great tool. It's an amazing tool.
Yeah.
And we'll dig out information. You're like, wait a sec, where the hell did it find this?
Yeah.
You know? So, but again, it all depends on how you want to use it, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Creating well, I like how the different segments that you're able to create with the werewolf. But again, it's frustrating because as you put it, it's not giving you exactly what you're asking for, and you got to keep reiterating, through the prompts or whatever else. Look at no, this not what I wanted. I wanted this, and even when you do that, it's yeah,
Yeah. And there's no way to kind of upload a reference image, I don't think, to the Google one as well. You can't kind of keep it on track with a reference image. So
do you
it's kind of limited in that respect.
do you think it is quite possible that it has maybe a learning curve in terms of human description, like describing when it's writing out exactly, or if it's voicing it, because I mean you can voice your the prompts too. I mean, is it having some sort of issue fully understanding what maybe we're not putting enough description in there, or what do you think?
Well, no, I think it's just faulty. I
Yeah.
mean, like when I say, a UFO in a hangar, the UFO then takes off. I mean, I don't know why the fuck it's like inside the hangar facing out, which I didn't want, and then two fucking UFOs take off, one from inside the other one.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, if I'd said two UFOs are blended together and one takes off out of the other one, I could understand it. But no, it just doesn't. It doesn't make much sense. I think it's got a long way to go in kind of learning as well. It needs to learn from its inferences. It's like, well, the scenes that you're trying to create are obviously going to follow on from each other. So you need to keep the characters that were in this one in the next one, and it hasn't learned that at all. It's like everything is a new kind of universe with new characters almost.
Hey, Mr. Bengal, how are you?
Hey,
Mr.
John.
John Bengal.
Yeah.
Um,
Will I be around? Will you be around, Steve, in an hour?
I
As he'll be around then.
probably not. I'll probably end this in, I don't know, the next 10 minutes or so. But I mean, if John, you go live, or anyone else, I'll definitely pop in and say hi. But yeah, it just yeah, it's a wonderful tool, and it again, it can be frustrating, like a lot of technology that's out there. But I have to say, there are times that I've asked it to design something that you're like, oh wow, this is actually a lot better than I anticipated it would show up as.
Yeah, it depends on how you're going to use it. If it's just kind of like a cutesy little like sequence, then
Mm,
it'd probably be fine. But if you're trying to create a storyboarded effect,
mm.
where this happens, then the next thing happens, then the next thing happens, then you may run into problems.
Again, it kind of leads into, this would be really cool if you're able to sort of, with one swift command, say, hey, look it, I want to create a 20-minute segment of in this case, an explorer of a very unique abandoned location in, say, wherever, northern England, whatever, wherever. You give it a kind of a, like a location, And of course, when you give it the location, it will analyze all the different sort of aspects of that location. And that's the wonderful thing about these things. The mining it does for information, I think, is really cool. It does a really good job mining for information as opposed to, just giving it some information. I think the information that it comes up with is far more extensive. And, because I mean, look at, I mean, what are the parameters of this thing in its search? I mean, does it even search, like, say, the dark web? Do you think?
Don't know. I mean, they have to
Yeah.
train it on existing videos, and it has to know
Yeah.
what's in those videos. It has to know the context of what's in that video to kind of index it. So I suppose a lot of its training is the slow bit, because it has to
Yeah.
go through a video and go, well, what am I looking at? Is that a bus? Is that a car? Is that a lamppost? Is it is that a building? Is it a
Yeah.
house? It has to kind of learn all those things and then know that those are okay to use in future scenarios,
Yeah.
and then blend them in. And it's kind of good as well, because it knows then, it knows what so many buildings look like. You can kind of say, I want a skyscraper, and it will create you a skyscraper. And you can say, well, I want it to be 50 floors tall, and even though it only has a limited range of skyscrapers, it will kind of extend it out. And if you say a UFO, it will have a whole range of UFOs. But if you said like a saucer shaped UFO, it will kind of create something that's three-dimensional, even though it's been trained on many photos of saucers. It knows how to flip it, like that one I did. It kind of knows the saucer model, the Bob Lazar saucer model. Even though
Yeah.
I gave it a side-on view, it knew it was a saucer shape, and then was able to flip it up and show you the rounded underneath. It knew that. So that's kind of impressive. That
What
it kind of works out three-dimensionality from. Yeah.
what if you were to give it a command, Matt? If you were to give it a command, like, say, can you create a image of something that is within the fourth dimension? What do you think it would do?
Wow, let's try it.
Yeah.
I'll give it a whirl now.
Yeah, like, I
Videos.
mean, does it, because if anything, it would probably better understand the fourth dimension than we would, able to perceive it. Because I mean, we simply can't perceive the fourth dimension, right?
Mm, yeah, okay. So I said give me a video of the fourth dimension. Okay. That's all I'm gonna tell it.
Okay.
I'm gonna do it 16:9, and I'm gonna do it at 720p. Let's see what it comes up with. But it's probably going to base it on many videos that have been uploaded of computer animations of simulations of what the fourth dimension would look like. It's going to base it on that. But
You think so? Yeah.
yeah, I think it's going to base it on what other people have said, in their understanding of what it would be like, and it's going to base it on that. And will it understand how to kind of animate it? That will be interesting. We shall see.
Yeah, I mean, like, give us a glimpse of what it's like to be in the fourth dimension, or what the fourth dimension looks like.
Yeah.
And again, I kind of harken back to that one guy, that one kid, who was literally explaining what the fourth dimension is. I mean, what was a 13-year-old kid in high school or whatever, and he was, I forget his name. And hey, Tom, how are you? He was going on about, saying what the fourth dimension is about, and this is how he was explaining it, and so on and so on. And it became, it went viral, and the kid disappeared for like fucking years, and then just reappeared a few years ago. You know, I think. Hold on. Do I got him? I think I'm following him still on YouTube. Let me see if I still got that video.
was thinking about this one. It's taking a long time.
Yeah, because I mean, it's probably something that a lot of people don't really ask you, right?
Oh, fuck's sake. It's
Uh
fucking. Oh, you're not going to like it.
oh.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Really?
Oh, here we
Here
go.
we go, folks. This is what's like in the fourth dimension.
Oh,
It's just a
yeah.
spinning fucking image.
But I mean, think about it. It's an abstract dimensional exploration. But I mean, think about it. Is that what how humans can only perceive the fourth dimension? Because I mean, simply we can't in our brain capacity, we can't understand what the fourth dimension is all about, can we?
Well, we can, in terms of how it's meant to kind of behave, but
Yeah.
it's kind of it's not impossible for computer systems to actually generate things from the fourth dimension, but everything kind of loops around
Mhm.
on itself.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of weird bit about it. Is kind of like things join each other, on both sides, and
Yeah.
sort of anything that's introduced into that dimension is kind of like on both sides. It's on the left side and the right side. So
Yeah.
things, it's like like the tesseract, the hypercube,
Yeah.
which is like a cube which folds in on itself. But is the fourth dimension time? Is it extra spatiality, or is it time?
Well, when you look at, say, the jump from two dimension to three dimension, right? And people are like, well, we can't perceive the third. Well, yeah, we can. It's what we're living in. We're living in 3D here. Like, I mean, it's a current state of existence. It's just we can't perceive from the third dimension to the fourth dimension because the parameters just don't sort of compute with the human brain in its perception. I mean, just imagine if somebody was able to perceive the fourth dimension through like it was a regular thing. I mean, how advanced would we have to be to be able to perceive the fourth dimension? I mean, that's just a crazy thought.
Well, I've just told it to create a pentagram in the fourth dimension. Let's see what it does with that.
Okay.
This is going to
Let's
be. I think I get the feeling this is going to be shit. I have low expectations of what this stuff can do, but we shall see.
Again, you sit there and go, it only shows you what it wants to show you. You're not going to be able to see the reality of things because we can't show you that.
Yeah, and it's automatically uh, created the title "Ethereal Pentagram." So that doesn't sound good, does it? Because it
No.
just means it's going to be a pentagram, kind of with a bit of fog and some lighting effects. It's kind of like, is it going to really give us something which shows edges bending in on each other and moving, or is it going to be kind of a
You,
static
you
spinning image
need to
again?
be stoned. You need to be stoned to understand the fourth dimension. Yeah. Yeah. Peyote. Ugh,
Mm,
it's sad, but
We
I
shall
mean,
see what it can come up with.
you think in this day and age that we would have some sort of grasp on the fourth dimension.
Well, and then there's the multiverse.
Well, exactly, the multiverse, exactly. I mean, I think that really does explain a lot of the phenomena that happens, a lot of the experiences that happen that people. Hold on, hey G, how
I
try
did
ask?
spell dimension. I did spell dimension wrong, so I wonder how it'll handle that. It's not going to like the fact I spelt it wrong, probably, but we shall see. Hopefully, it'll kind of realize I made a
It's smart
mistake.
enough to correct it, right? Come on.
Yeah, hopefully.
But we'll see.
We live with bated breath. What's it going to be like?
But, oh, here we go. Here
What
we
is
go.
go- what,
Here we
what's
go.
it going to be like? We're still
Here we-
waiting. I've been waiting and waiting. But is it going to be great? Is it going to be shiz? Oh,
Oh,
it's
here we
0%
go.
now.
Here we go.
Oh,
Oh, 93.
nearly.
Here we go. Here
Here
we
we
go.
go. Oh. Ah, yeah, no. Yes, it kind of does fold on itself. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's kind of, there's lines are appearing and disappearing. Yeah, like things disappearing and reappearing.
Yeah.
Nah.
I mean,
Well,
it's
who knows?
neat, but it just again, it kind of get just like almost like it just a three-dimensional sort of.
Well, it looks almost like it's a six-sided shape rather than a pentagram, which isn't what I asked for. So,
Yeah, interesting.
unless the top also reflects to the bottom, which, interesting.
You could see some of the lines getting, disrupted and changing.
Just
But
kind of
that's
morphing
morphing.
into,
Yeah. So it kind of loses its pentagram sort of shape.
Yeah, it's not
Right.
very cool, is it? Really, but
It's an interesting sort of representation. But yeah.
if I did a crop circle as skewiff as that, there'd be lots of people complaining that it was just fucking man-made. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So,
I guess it's not proper. It doesn't want to let us know any more than we need to know about the fourth dimension.
no.
Can you point me in the direction of a portal to the fourth dimension?
Let's try fifth dimension.
Oh wow! Now we're really stretching it.
Yeah, I reckon it's probably going to be pretty much more of the same.
Only more lines being distorted. I mean, but hey, I mean, what? That's probably what happens. Straight lines become distorted, right? I mean, that's the thing about getting into these higher dimensions. That
Well,
definitely
they'll be
lines are
distorted, but they should still join because
Yeah,
they still connect.
true.
So yeah, just like blurring them and wobbling them out doesn't, to me, seem
Pentagram in the fifth dimension. Who would have ever thought about trying a pentagram?
Whilst I was thinking about it, I need to do a thing. So I'll be back.
Yeah, sure. A pentagram in the fourth dimension. Get it here, folks. Only here. Pentagram in the fifth dimension. Glam lad, how are you, Glam lad? Hope you are well. It is slowly becoming evening here. Early evening. I know it's evening there in the UK. It is 3:13 p.m. What is it? 8? It's 8:13 in the UK. Did any of you guys check out the Black Sabbath farewell back to the beginning thing online? I could have done without everything up leading to Ozzy and Sabbath, and I was fine. All the other stuff was just rhetoric.
Yeah. You know, I said I was installing a Mac, and
Yeah.
it's like copying the data. Of course, it's the Mac screen. You know, one of those screen ones. It's like fucking
Yeah.
yeah, like and of course, it's only got USB 2.
Yeah.
So to copy 13 gigs of data has taken 2 hours.
Wow. And 13 gigs. What would that normally take? It wouldn't take that long, would it?
Yeah.
13
Oh,
gigs.
here we go. It's not good. Right. The
Fifth
final
dimension
product.
here.
Fifth dimension,
Fifth
folks. Right.
dimension here, folks. Here we go.
Yeah.
Fifth dimension.
Yeah.
Yeah. What the hell?
That is kind of so a 5 becomes a 6 then, basically, is it?
Wow.
5 becomes a 6.
I mean, when you think of like a pentagram in the third dimension. Maybe okay, revert it and say Matt say pentagram in the third dimension. See what it comes up with when you say that.
Well, I would think it would come up with a pentagram. But
Yeah.
the thing is, it's drawing the lines. Well, it's not even no, the lines of the pentagram are not like they're not lining up
No, they're
to be a
not lining up.
pentagram. That's a 6.
Yeah, wow.
It's a 6-sided shape,
Yeah.
really. Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. It just looks like some sort of art you'd get in a Winamp plugin.
Winamp, holy crap. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not really. Yeah. Maybe that's what they think. What people want is they just want some sort of snazzy, colorful, shimmering thing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not really what you
Barry
asked for,
says.
but yeah.
Barry says more like the Star of David. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not really pentagram
No.
at all.
Not at all. Not at all.
Not allowed.
I'll probably go for another 4 or 5 minutes there, Matt.
Fair shout.
Yeah. But yeah, it's I don't know. It does a lot of cool shit, but yeah, again, a lot of it, I think, in the current status is pretty frustrating. It's pretty frustrating because you figure, okay, look I'm gonna put this set of commands in and prompts or whatever else, however you want to say it, and you figure you're gonna get what you ask for. It never does. It's never the case. I think a majority of the time, it's never the case.
Yeah, maybe its idea of the fifth dimension is somebody's psytrance video talking about the fifth dimension, and they were like, it's in a psytrance video, and there's loads of them in the psytrance videos talking about dimensions. So it's got the word index dimensions, and then fifth dimension, and then like lots of pentagrams, but probably more sampled. It's sampled more hexagrams than pentagrams. So it's kind of like going, yeah, he really wants this. Really, he wants a side trance, doesn't he? He wants a side trance. It's six sides, really. He wants, and that's what he really wants.
Yeah,
yeah.
You should try to ask it and go, hey, can you create a scene from a secret vault video and see see if it actually recognizes the secret vault.
Yeah.
Hey Frank, how are you? It's pretty good for creating images for free. Yeah, I mean, I tried that. It's not too bad. Whoop, it's not too bad.
Right. I've said create a video based on the secret vault on YouTube. All right. Let's try it. See what happens.
I always find it very interesting. Hey, Gray79, how are you? How about the new Chapel Green film coming out?
Capel Green,
Capel Green, sorry. What
if
did I
that's
say?
what they said. I don't know if they
It
said
is
that.
Capel.
Capel Green.
Capel Green.
Yeah, well, that would be very hard for it to do, considering the film hasn't yet come out. So how's it going to know?
Does it have a head start? Does it have a head start? Who knows?
Yeah.
I've used the one that Frank pointed out, Deep AI. Have you used that one?
No.
You pointed out Deep AI is pretty good for creating images for free. The video creation you need to pay. Well, yeah, of course.
I wouldn't mind so much if they said, "Here's a really like crappy thumbnail quality one.
Yeah.
Is that what you want to create?" And then you pay to see it like proper quality. I wouldn't mind, but I mean, it's kind of like you're paying to roll a dice at a bloody at a sort of at the casino, really, aren't you?
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like,
Yeah.
hey, what's this going to look like? Oh, no dice, grandma. No dice, grandma. You lose. You lose. You lose. And
Exactly.
it's like, yeah, it's like all your money's gone. You didn't.
Yeah.
You didn't walk away with a decent video at the end of it.
Yeah, well, that's the one thing I challenge. Like I find that I challenge the AI and say, like, especially with something that obviously firsthand, um, and if it does find something, you're like, wow, okay, that's actually really neat. But that's a rarity I find with AI, no matter what. And again, I think it has a lot to do with the stupid restrictions it has. But
yeah, I got hiccups now.
it's $1 a video or $10 for Hollywood quality.
God, it's halfway through writing this USB stick, and it's 10 gigs. It's done. It's 5 gigs an hour. Wow, Apple.
And how long did you start it again?
Well, we've been on you for like 2 hours.
Yeah,
and it's done half of it.
and you started just before this, right?
4 hours to write a fucking was going to be a 20 gig memory stick.
Wow.
How the fuck do people even use Apple Macs? I mean, like back in the day, there was these things, and they only had USB 2 on them. How the hell do you go out and what? Oh, right. I see what it's done. I see where it's kind of gone, but it's not what I was looking for. Look, right, here we go.
Hey, Louise, how are you? Oh, here we go.
It's the secret vault. It's a vault. It's a door going into a door.
It's a secret door.
It's a door going into a door. There we are. So that has not really much to do with me running around, or
no, exactly.
It's just a vault. It's just doors going into doors.
Yeah. Wow. Incredible.
Yeah. So you don't get what you pay for. With
AI. Not at all. Well, sir.
Yeah.
I'm going to call it. But you know what? Always great to have you on, Matt. Thank you.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, no worries.
Interesting chat about AI. And I'll definitely
the lack of it.
Yeah, I know lack of it. I'll definitely check out what is it, Sora? I'll definitely check that out. That's pretty neat. But
I went down the wrong way.
Yeah, I guess so. Hey, Adam B, take care. Thanks for everybody for popping in, by the way. Barry and Adam B, Frank and Grace 79, and Louise,
an alternate angel. Puppy.
Yeah, and that honestly, Matt, I swear to God, I thought that was Angel for a second.
Resurrected by our AI.
resurrected by AI. I'm like, wait a sec, wait, holy shit, he has another dog.
Angel, another
Uh,
angel. He's looking at me like, oh, what you want about?
yeah.
It's another angel.
Who the hell are you?
Oh,
There we go. The attack begins.
here he goes. He's like, oh, yeah,
All right, my friend. All right, you take care, Matt.
Thanks a lot. Okay, see
all
you.
right.
See you all in chat. All the
Yeah,
best.
take
Cheers.
care, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.